Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. For today's Sunday recap, we have Marka joining us, who has actually been on the pod before. He is coming back on the pod, making another celebrity guest appearance. I feel like he's going to be taking over my role because I've been out of the loop a bit, and he's very much in the loop. So, yeah. But Marka, welcome. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Jenny and Michael. I wouldn't say celebrity by any means, but yeah, thanks so much for having me. And yeah, it's honored to be second time on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you. You guys might remember Marka. Mark, he was on with Theo. They are the founders of NFT Melbourne, which Jenny pronounced perfectly during our 2-year anniversary episode when she went over that. She went over all the guests.
Well done.
Mark is also one of the original co-founders of the original NFT Catcher. Mark is an amazing web designer in the real world. He's also the creator of Checkade, which I spend way too much time playing Tetris, but I'm dominating. We could probably bring that up.
We will, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to touch me in Tetris. I got that game pretty good.
You talk the talk and you're walking the walk, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm sure once there's some prizes up for grabs, there'll be some pros coming in.
Yeah, heck yeah. Did I miss anything from your growing Web3 resume?
It was pretty good synopsis, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Playing around with a lot of 3D stuff at the moment. I've always been infatuated with 3D stuff. Like I actually did like a metaverse for my final year project like 20 years ago. It was called Mark Antonilo's Internet Chat Environment. Malice.
Wow.
Terrible acronym, but good name.
Malice.
And,
nice.
Yeah, we've never done any 3D stuff in our IRL business, but I've always been infatuated with it. So yeah, if you look at my Twitter profile, you'll see a lot of 3D stuff at the moment, which hopefully with the Vision Pro, it takes off, with the AR stuff.
Yeah, totally. So the reason we asked Mark to come on today is because there was some action in the Opepen community. We've talked about it some on the pod, and like I've been in and out of the Opepens, and it's taken over Web3 in some respects. We talked a lot about when Thread Guy had his open edition and all that. But Mark has been from the very beginning in the Discord. You were Jack Butcher, you were all in, and you know all the stuff that's going on. So we wanted maybe give us a high-level overview of kind of what's going on. Why are people so infatuated with Jack Butcher? The mechanics of how it works, which you kind of explained in the Discord this week. And then there was an exploit. There was a big piece of news last week. So we want to talk about that. So what do you got going on? What's happening? What's Opepen? Why is everyone freaking out?
It's it's a long story, I guess. Personally, Jack put out a tweet thread, or I think it was the 3rd of January, talking about checks. And I remember just reading it. He minted checks for $8, which is the same price as the Twitter, verified check. And the whole thing was if everyone's verified, no one's verified. If everyone's notable, no one's notable. So I read this thread, and to be honest, I didn't know about Jack. A lot of people have been following him for years. Our mutual friend Ollie minted like 12 of them. We won't say what he did after that. So I missed it all. I was on holidays with summer over here. So I think, it was like the 12th of Jan. I read it, and I just read his thread, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's pretty smart. I like his take. Bought like one check off secondary for like, not $8, but I think it was like $20. And that check happened to be, when it minted, happened to be quite rare. And then I found out about Jaleel, who's the developer on the site with Jack's secondhand right-hand man, I guess. There is a third guy called Traft who does like the web design, but it's mainly Jack and Jaleel. And then diving into Jaleel's work, he has previous projects. His first ever project was called One Day I'll Be a Punk. And I want to be a punk, so I resonated with that. But his other project is called Scapes, so Scapes XYZ. It was originally for punks. It was like a background for punks. But that is just insane if you jump into it. Like it's on-chain artwork, has all these layers. Then each one comes with its own radio station. It's got like this soul-bound cartridge NFT. So I was just like, hang on, Jack on the left is incredible from a marketing, design, brain side of things. And you got this Jaleel guy, and I remember having a chat with Theo and Greg Oakford from NFT Fest, I think in February about it. And they were like, sell your checks. Like I probably could have got 3 ETH for it. And you know me, Michael, I'm a hodler. I don't sell stuff. I don't trade. And they were like telling me, and I was like, no, like these are different. These are different. These are like Web3 native. They're been around for a while. You've got the best of both worlds. Like Jaleel is an amazing dev. Like I've seen so many big projects with terrible devs, right? We've all seen it. You know, just absolute chunky smart contracts, everything. And the more I looked into it, I was just like, these two are epic. And that was, January, February. Checks went crazy there for a few months. And then, yeah, like the Opepen stuff, I remember seeing Jack tweet it out. So it comes from Pepe the Frog, Bats, who was an artist, did this derivative, I guess, of a Pepe. Jack saw it, and then he was like, shall we do these Opepen PFP things from checks? And they were minted for free. So checks were $8. Opepen was $0. There's 16,000 of them minted.
Opepen came after checks?
Yeah, not long after, yeah.
Okay.
Checks was like January 3rd, and then Opepen was like...
Okay.
Not long after it. So...
Yeah.
That's the thing about Jack is like it's the total inverse of everything we've seen, right? It's an $8 mint. It's a $0 mint. Infinity checks, which we'll get to in a sec, that was basically a piggy bank. So they've flipped it on its head. With Opepen, the big thing about Opepen is the ones that have been revealed are worth more than the ones that are not revealed, which is, again, the total inverse of everything we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, to be honest, it's the only thing that's really kept me interested in the market for the last 6 months. I think I tweeted out around that same time, I was like, I'm expecting some innovative, cool stuff happening this year. And if it wasn't for Jack and Jaleel, I don't know where I would have found it, to be honest. I don't think I've bought anything else. So checks then rolled into Opepen, which is because of the PFV thing. People, I think, that's where it went, caught like wildfire. And there's so much to talk about it, I guess. Yeah, it's simple. It's just four cubes, as the meme went. The ENS guy said, I don't get it. It's just 4 cubes. It's so simple. Like, again, for me with the 3D aspect of it, I can get in there. I can do a square. I can do a circle, a sphere, and I can recreate it almost in code, in a few lines of code. And that's why it's so amazing, is because it's so simple a shape that anyone can get in there and become, as Jack says, the collector becomes the creator. So that's why you've seen it happen. And you've heard about this creator economy with other projects like Clone X and stuff, but it's bloody hard to get in and do something with a Clone X. Right, but with Opepen, people who aren't artists or people who, like me, who aren't really a 3D guy, have been able to get in there and do some cool stuff with it. So I think that's where it's really resonated. And now, so for the first 10 sets, he brought in these sort of lesser known artists and really gave them a pedestal. And they're doing quite well out of it. That was set, some of the sets were just him, some were Jaleel. There was 2 artists, Piv, who's that colorful, beautiful Bauhaus one that you see a lot. Jack's cake was just made with it. And now it sounds like this next chapter, which is supposedly set 11 to 20, is going to be more like collabs, which is where the Pudgy Penguin things come in. So we're literally end sets in out of 200. So every couple of weeks or so, a set drops, which is 80 Opepens. And to get one, you have to opt in one of the unrevealed ones. So I think I've got 4 Opepens in total. I've opted them in. I missed the first couple of sets. I think it was Easter here. I was having time out or something. But I've opted my 4 in the last 8 times and I haven't landed. But that's okay because I've got like a 0.04% of landing, right? And there's a little bit of FUD about, the whales are getting all the big stuff. But if you miss out on these sets, you've got a better chance, obviously, for future sets. And who knows? Like, people just did 4 Opepen related every day. Like, who knows what will happen down the track, right? So yeah, there's a whole lot more I could chat about, I guess. Any other specific questions?
No, it's really interesting. So is there a timeline for when he wants to complete the 200?
No, there's no timeline. You can look at the sort of the tempo of it. Like it's going to be quite hard. Like even I was like, how is he going to keep this rolling for 200 sets? Like we're all going to get sick of this shape, right? But you can see now it's no longer even just the Cuban spheres anymore. It's pudgy penguins.
Right.
They look sick, right? Like I put my PFP as one. Like I want a little green one. I know you guys have been chatting obviously with Luke on. I was very close to buying a pudgy penguin a couple of weeks ago, but 4 ETH is still a lot of monny.
I know, it's a lot.
To
man.
get a
It's
little
high.
pudgy.
I could, yeah, I should. So
They're a
I've
lot
opted
more
in
affordable.
I've opted in my shout out to goodmonth.eth never fade podcast. He calls them his 4 eddies. So with the Opepen, every set there's 80, and there's one of one, there's 4 4s, there's 5 5s.
So you might get lucky and get even in the set of 80. That is really cool. And then
So you have to have one of the 4 editions or the 101 editions. So like if you want one of the 1 editions, which there's only going to be 200 of them, the floor price on them right now is like 80. Right,
you have to have an unrevealed 101 or whatever.
What it is?
Okay,
yeah, an unrevealed
you,
what it
got
is.
you. Got you.
Yeah. So, but funnily enough, sometimes obviously the 101 always is a premium, but like the difference between say the 4 of 4, the 5 of 5, the 10 of 10, it comes down to aesthetics. A lot of this project, right? So you might opt in a 40 edition, which is 40 of them. Now, the difference between 40 and 4 is not a huge amount when you're talking about 16,000. But some of these, like the one I bought a couple of weeks ago, the Bauhaus colorful one, that's like a 10 edition, but it's just aesthetically, it looks cool, right? So again, it's just it slips it. Normally the 101s are the most expensive and it goes down a rarity like that. But when this one doesn't, and it's also different sets, right? The second set was an AI produced one, and that's probably the least popular of all of them, which is great because we like to see real artists. And set 9 or 10 and set 11 now at Pudgy Penguins will be massively popular. But who's to say set 35 won't be ridiculously popular if they bring in like an X copy or something?
If he keeps going and it keeps building momentum and people keep and he keeps doing cooler and cooler stuff, they will get more and more valuable. That's really interesting. If he can keep it up, that's.
If he can,
that's been the problem. I mean, and it's showing he can so far. That's been the thing in the NFT spaces. Everyone gets these hype cycles going, but this is really cool though. People are really into it, and you have Thread Guy on your team. That was really cool. That whole thing.
Yes, that was crazy. Yeah. So, should I sort of give the TLDR on that, or you spoke about it before?
we talked about that. I think we should actually get into the hack. I think we should get into whatever the exploit with Jaleel and the Infinity and what that project was about. I learned a lot. That was really cool hearing all that though. That was because I definitely learned a lot about the Opepens that I didn't know just from hearing you go over that. So it's a really cool ecosystem. Sometimes it's hard to, I don't know. I never really got my mind around what he was doing, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the same with me with a lot of projects like D-Gods. I'm just not in it in terms of what's going on. And it's hard, isn't it? If you miss out at the start, you sort of feel like, hey, I've missed out. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, hey, what's going on? But like, you haven't really missed out on Opepen because it's like 5% have been minted, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine a normal drop where it's 5%. Usually that would go to the founders and stuff. So it's still super early if you want to get in. Obviously the floor price is just to get it
point 62 right now. It looks like
0.62. So it's that's probably out of range for even a lot of people, but you can still get in. So with the exploit, so Infinity Checks was an interesting model. So Jack had had these element checks that he sold at Sotheby's, and there was 4 elements: fire, water, wind, and earth. And anyone who bidded on them, he promised basically this airdrop. So that airdrop was going to be these Infinity Checks. So it's quite amazing that they did these checks, and the outline of the checks is like this circular pattern, right? Like it's a circular pattern, and basically it all ties into infinity and this sort of 8 symbol and whatever else. So he said instead of doing this just silly little airdrop that everyone would have done for these checks, they got this idea of doing these infinity checks, which was he would airdrop these Skittle type colored checks, infinity checks, to the 200 or so that bid on them. But anyone else for 0.0008 could basically mint one of those infinity checks. But the thing was, if you minted one, you could then get a refund at any stage. So it was almost like a little piggy bank. So you're putting in 0.008 as many times as you want to mint infinity amount of checks that you want. If you see a nice one that you like, and then you could withdraw it at any stage. So people were sort of going, hey, these could become almost like a little stable coin, right? Like every one of them is worth 0.008. You can withdraw at any stage. And again, it takes out the whole tokenomics and rarity thing from a project. So it was quite interesting. I spoke to a couple of OGs and they're like, oh, none of these elements by themselves are unique. There's been other NFTs where you could get refunds. There's other NFTs where you could mint multiple. But I think the way they combined it again was quite unique. And it launched, when was it? Like last Wednesday or so. And I think, like 4,000 have been minted. It was a lot of fun. People were loving it. They're like, oh, I'm loving this, exercise of going in and just hitting generate and regenerate and all this sort of stuff. I generated a few, and then it was like Friday night at like 1 a.m. here. I got home from having a few drinks, and then I saw it and I'd been exploited. So I said, Jaleel is one of the best devs I've seen. He had help from Backseats.eth, which is another incredible dev. It all been audited. And then Jaleel made a couple of tweaks post-audit just to save some gas. And some very, very, as they generally are, some very smart hacker found a bit of an exploit where he could basically generate as many checks as he wanted, he or she, we should say, as many checks as they wanted to. So they generated 4,000 checks. And then because each check is worth 0.008, they could just withdraw 0.008 4,000 times. So they withdrew like the 38 ETH from the contract. And we're all devastated, especially for Jaleel, because he's such a god and he was trying to do something new. And I've done that Rowpepen thing I did is like, it's a smart contract that has on-chain SVG stuff that's linked to a game. When you're doing these multiple faceted projects, it's so difficult. And that's what Jaleel was doing. He was doing on-chain artwork, smart contract, and he was doing this tokenomics type, almost like a stablecoin thing. And he had it all. It was all working. And he just it sounded like he made one last minute change to save some gas. And this guy found a loophole, which was basically he could basically say, I want to burn 0 checks, but create 4,000 checks. It's quite complex. Even I sort of, as a dev, sort of was like, oh, how the hell did he figure that out? So so the contract is basically dead. It's can't be used any longer. Well, it can be, but the exploit's there and you can't change it because it's an immutable contract. So Jaleel then just today, he so Jack and Jaleel were straight onto it. Visualize Value, which is their company wallet, refunded everyone that had their ETH in it. So within like 10 hours, everyone got their ETH back. That was like Saturday. Jaleel took full responsibility, and now Jaleel has just sold his punk, which is another little interesting story. He sold her for 55 ETH. Ben.eth offered him 120 ETH only like a month ago, and he refused it, but then he put it on there for like 180 ETH. So he could have had 120 ETH. He shouldn't have lost anything, and now he's sold his punk, which I assume he's going to try and give Jack the ETH back. We'll see. And then the community's rallying around that to try and get Jaleel's punk back. So really unfortunate. Again, they're just trying to push the space, and so much shonkiness goes on, and he's just trying to do the right thing, and it caught him. That every loss is a lesson. I think he's learned a lot of lessons. I just keep saying he was one of the best devs in the space before this. He's going to be the best dev in the space after this, I reckon. So,
well, yeah, I said to you, I was looking at his posts, and every comment underneath it was positive. Like, you would never see that. Someone screws up. Like, I remember when the Aku guys screwed up. That was $35 million. That's a difference. And that's still sitting there. No one can even touch it. But like those people were getting roasted, if you remember. Those people were getting roasted.
Like
Jaleel was all positive. We got your back, da-da-da. Like, we understand. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, again, it's the whole thing about Jack and Jaleel's transparency, right? They haven't hidden anything they've done.
Yeah.
They've usually put out teasers and questions and got feedback the whole time. So I don't know if either one of them have slept in the last 6 months because they're constantly, answering and responding, all the rest. So I think, we saw exactly what went down. It wasn't Jaleel trying to be lazy. Like there's so many, like he launched it on the 8th of August, 0808. So he hit his deadline because it's all about the 8 symbol. There's so much fun things I did, like a contract review. And then, you can see he actually had the Gorley, the testnet contract that didn't have the exploit in it. And he sent that and he goes, here it is. And he literally was just trying to do it to save a little bit of gas, which, says a lot about him, right? So, and that, to me, that's been the thing about the community the whole time is with checks, with Opepen, is there's so little talk. It has popped up a lot lately, but up until only like the last few weeks, which is going to always happen, but there's been very little talk of floor price and tokenomics.
Mm-hmm.
It's been completely different, right? And you've had Shrinkto, who had like 400 of the checks, and then Lord Elon Musk, who has 700 of the Opepens. You've got these two leaders that haven't sold. They've really, they are the ones running the spaces. Board does a space every Friday night my time, Friday morning your time. Board's a very smart guy, and he doesn't get to 1.7 million followers or whatever he has without being it. And so you've got these top guys who are really leading the way.
How do you make his way before Opepen? What was Board Elon Musk doing?
Board Elon Musk has just been a parody account of Elon Musk for like the last, I don't know how many years, 5+ years.
Okay.
He used to just post photos of Elon Musk being bored, like literally.
Really?
Yeah. But he's very smart, very funny. Has a lot of good takes. He's a gamer. He's like a card game manufacturer or designer. So he knows like gamification sort of stuff. And he had like the green Elon Musk, like faceted sort of robotic face. And then he saw Opepen and he was like, so now his green Opepen is actually his Board Elon Musk has made PFP.
So Board Elon Musk didn't come about because of Board API Club?
No, Board's been around for a long time. Yeah.
Michael thinks anything Board is like Board Apes.
It's NFTs. Yeah. It's Board. I don't know. I
don't know. There's a lot of boards, BOREDs. I know. No, I think he's been that character for like 7 or 8 years. You know what I mean? Wow. It's been a while.
That's funny.
And so, it's great to see him supporting it and all the rest. So it's exciting. As I said, it's these new collabs, who knows where it will go. I think that 101 Pudgy Penguin will sell for a lot. Of the Opepen, what they call it?
I'm sure it will.
What
did he call it? Yeah. Pepgwin, is that what it was?
Oh, Pepgwin, yeah.
Pepgwin. We'll work on the marketing.
Yeah,
I'm sure they got it down. I'm just kidding. They got it down. Yeah. That's really cool, man. I appreciate all that info, and hopefully our listeners do too. That is a lot of info.
It's still super early. Don't feel like you've missed out. If you can get in for the 0.6, it's a fun ride because literally every week or two, it's like a fun thing. You opt in, you're like, oh, and then you have this disappointment because you keep missing, but then you're like, well, what's next? It's conceivably. I've been like, we don't really need a Beeble, or we don't like. I like him supporting lesser known artists, and I love that, and that's what that Piv and Batsu has happened with them. But it would still be cool to see like a X-Copy collab or a Beeble or whatever else. So we'll see.
That's all in the realm. I could see all that stuff happening for sure.
Yeah, I think just the projects, like Jack just tweeted Frank wearing the Opepen glasses, like a derivative of that. So who knows? He might just keep sort of almost helping these other projects to lift up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, hope he does something with Clown X, because I got my clown there.
Maybe he's the one that bought Little Lemon Friends.
Yeah.
Do you know about that? We're waiting to find out who bought Little Lemon Friends. They announced they've been acquired, and it's they're
okay.
They're not even called Friends, aren't they? Just Little Lemons.
Little Lemon? No, I think it's the Little Lemon Friends.
Lemons. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Jenny's a holder too.
You're right.
Remember, I hold twice as many as you. So
I know you hold 2. I hold 1. I actually was thinking. Well, I saw in our Discord, or in the NFT Catcher Discord, Jodo. They said they bought one
too. I know.
And there's this cool thing.
They heard us talking about it.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I should I get a second one? And I was like looking around because now the floor's dropped a little bit. It's like 0.04 something. So yeah, and I was like, should I try to get a second one?
I might go,
but
more.
I don't know. Oh wow! Okay.
I'm gonna one up me again. It's gonna come down a little bit more. It's gonna come down. Let me look at it real quick. Little Lemon Friends 0446.
But when are they supposed to reveal who bought?
It's still a couple weeks away.
Oh, okay.
They said 4 weeks from whenever that was, and that was like a week or 2 ago.
I'm gonna forget about it, and then all of a sudden,
it's gonna
be like, oh yeah, that's right.
Well, what'll happen is it'll like shoot up to 1 ETH. We won't know about it. It'll come all the way back down.
You will be like doing something. Yeah. Definitely.
That
Michael,
was like with that. Remember?
Yeah, I haven't spoke to you since you sold your ape.
Oh, damn! Yes, sir.
You timed it well. Yeah, obviously you could have timed it better. But
I could have timed it better. I timed it just. Yeah, I saw the writing on the wall with it. Hopefully, long term it'll come back. I didn't want to write it down. I just couldn't write it down to nothing.
Yeah, I'm tempted to try and finally get in because I think I'm going to go to Ape Fest in Hong Kong. So I feel like I should have some
You'll
sort of...
get into the main one, the Bored Apes.
Yeah, I got a +1. I think. There's a gold ape Steve, as we call him, down here in Melbourne. I think he managed to get a good few. So it'd be great to finally get to an international Web3 event.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I've
Ape Fest is
going to get
I would love to go to Hong Kong.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. So I was there. I was there 20 years ago. Wow. So yeah, like mutants would. Yeah, obviously no one knows, right? But like, I think if mutants got down to like, the thing about mutants is I just don't like how they look. So, like,
they do. Most of them are.
Most of them, but there's a couple that are like, okay, like you really have to kind of needle through a haystack type of thing,
There are a couple. Like those ice face ones are real nice. The ice face ones.
I don't think I ever used them as a PFP, and like so many scammy accounts use them as well, like fake accounts. So I'm like, what's the point? I don't even
want to use mine as a PFP because mine is like ugly. It's like that, like melting face. It's like.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
I made my own PFP.
I know. I love it.
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We got more news to get into, but real quick, let's go over to the Tetris. Rowpepen. What you're gonna possibly do a tournament? What do you go? What's the alpha? What's the latest?
Yeah. So I needed a bit of a break from it because it literally, I've had vertigo the last couple of weeks. I spent so much time on it. Just as I said, like it was tricky to get the game and get it on.
Nobody's rushing. Yeah, for sure.
No, all good. So the tournament's actually quite easy to set up. It's I did it for the Frogger type game,
I remember
Pepiner game. So I was hoping to get an actual Opepen as a prize, but that might be a bit too much because I think people would try and hack me and stuff. So I do have someone.
I was worried about that. I was like, that's the only way anyone's gonna beat me is if they hack the game.
Yeah. So I do have. I won't announce it yet, but I have had a verbal agreement from someone to give away an NFT. Again, like floor price isn't crazy high on it, but it's a cool little NFT. And so we'll just run that for like a week, and the best high score will run. I've got 3 or 4 Opepen. There's a part of me that these checkers sold for $8 back in February, and there's a part of me where I'm just like, I really want to show these other projects that, you can keep a project afloat. So there's a part of me where I'm like, I almost want to give my own Opepens away as a reward to the people who minted a lot of my checkers. But we'll see. I need to really clamp down on security. There's also that in it for the art thing, which is really cool. And honestly, it almost had me in tears. So you can go in.
People do make really cool ones. Yeah, people do make really cool ones. Yep.
You can go in and basically play a game of Tetris, but none of the blocks disappear. And you can use some of the colors from the Opepen sets. So people are in there just creating these cool pieces of art, and then they can mint those pieces of art for free and give a tip if they want. So I want to do an Init for the Arts competition. So like the coolest one will win something. So just try and make NFTs fun again. Yeah,
dude. It is fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't. I was thinking there was going to be an Opepen. If you give yours away and I win it, I'll hold it. I'll keep it safe for you and see what.
Thanks,
I'll opt it into everything. He's like, I'm not giving away mine.
No, we'll see. Like I would need to lock down like the security a bit more and stuff like that. There's just so many people just hack their way in. I saw what the guys were doing with the Dookie Dash stuff, and now they hacked that.
Right.
And,
Once there's a $1,000 prize or whatever, people will definitely. I mean, Dookie Dash was $1 million prize, so that's a little bit different. But but even so,
we'll see. But I want to do something like that someday, and just a bit of fun, and then keep pushing some of the games out. Like a lot of them are just like simple retro games, but I do have this latest concept, which is trying to do like a Pokemon Go type thing with the Opepens. I just tweeted like just before I got on, which was quite cool. I don't know if it would be AR, but I would like to, but something where, there's an Opepen launch somewhere in the world, and maybe it's just online where you try and find it on the map. The first person to find the Opepen on the globe gets to mint it or keep it or something. I don't know. But I'd love to also try and do the actual, you have to go out to the street with your phone and like capture it. A lot of people try to do this play to or move to earn sort of stuff, but I think that'd be pretty cool if you actually have to go out and capture this Opepen. And I just feel like it fits with the whole aesthetics of it as well, like this little froggy Opepen thing jumping around. But obviously that would take a lot of time. But some sort of Web3 Pokemon Go would be sick, I reckon. So
that would be sick. A Web3 Pokemon Go. Interesting. You're doing it, man. I love it. All the people in that community, you started the whole thread guy thing. That's what, when you said, should we go over that? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Remember we tried to tell the story and we kind of like butchered it.
Yes, I do
and then Marka in the Discord was like, here's actually the story.
Yeah.
Like, oops.
You Jack butchered it. I made a simple tweet. It's Bored Elon again who did all of it. Like he offered Thread Guy, the edition, the set one, which is like 20 ETH. He offered it as a trade initially, and then he offered it for free. And then Thread Guy said no, and it was sort of all wrapped up. And then Saturday morning, I was just like, hey, I'm going to change my PFP to Thread Guy, and the whole if everyone's Thread Guy, no one's Thread Guy thing. I happened to be DMing. I sent Jack a DM of a screenshot up because I didn't realize Thread Guy had been in the community for months. And I think then Jack saw my PFP change, he changed his, and then everyone followed Jack. But yeah, I think technically I was the first one to change the PFP, which was insane. It was like 4 days of Beebles and everything else going crazy. So I'll take a little bit of a of a win on that.
Yeah, people kind of made an NFT about you.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
He made 3 of them.
I like it.
And then, and he hid Opepens. He's made like, I think Opepens have appeared like in 5 of his everydays, which people, because there's 6 editions in every set. So they're like, it's almost like he's alluding to the fact that he's going to do a set. But all right, if people did a set of Opepen, then yeah, it'd be insane.
That would be insane. That would be insane. That would be insane.
Yeah. He just bought his first PFP ever, CryptoPunk. It's mad.
Oh, really? That's his first PFP ever? I know people complain that he doesn't buy like enough art or whatever. I've heard that about.
Yeah.
Like when he got that 69 mil, they didn't put it into like art or whatever. But everyone does what they want to do with their own money.
Exactly.
No one knows what he does or who's he supporting or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. What did Vincent van Gogh? He bought a load of art, didn't he, with his 2 mil? Because he minted those Pepes back in January as well, and made like 2 million from an open edition. I'm pretty sure he went and bought a lot of art with that.
Oh, he did. I do remember that. I forgot all about that. His was checks too, wasn't it?
It was just a Pepe the Frog made with checks.
Right? Oh, right. That's
it was
That's right. It was the one that I did that Eagles thing about. Yeah.
He made like 2 mil in like 24 hours.
I know. I remember that. That's crazy how some of that stuff can just take off for no reason. Yeah. Oh my God. That's cool. So we went over a lot of Opepen. I think we've been going for about 45 minutes, all Opepen. It's a nice Opepen episode, but there is a lot that happened this week. I think we should run through quick. What do you guys think? We'll just kind of go over if anyone has anything to say. Well, one thing, my Moonbird Odyssey has been sacrificed. Do you guys know anything about that? What that means? I didn't really know too much about it. So I have a Moonbird Oddity. I've had it for a long time. I bought it at like 1 ETH when proof was really popular, and it's gone down, whatever it was, like 0.2 or whatever. So I just held it. And then I got an email about a month or two ago. They're like, would you like to offer yours up for sacrifice? And I think that's kind of similar to the Opepen. Why are you laughing, Jen? What did I do?
That too sounds so funny. Like, would you like to offer it up for sacrifice? Like, what are you sacrificing?
Right. Yeah, I know. I was like, I guess I don't care about this.
Like,
thing.
Sacrifice it.
So yesterday I got an email like, your Moonbird's been sacrificed. Check your wallet. And I got a Mythic now instead of an Oddity, which looks a lot better. My Moonbird Mythic is number 1749. It's actually really cool. It's got like a fire head. I like it. I like the aesthetic of it compared to even a lot of the other
Congrats.
Mythics.
That's exciting. Cool. So it's like getting a new PFP without having to really do anything, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. It's really cool. Like I wouldn't be horrible to use it as a PFP, honestly. Like something that I'm not going to. It's like the third tier of the Moonbirds. I don't need to necessarily use that as a PFP, but I thought that was fun. So that was pretty cool. Did you see the Cozomel de Medici Deekay Motion Open Edition? I know you've been out of it.
Yeah, I bought a few of
Mark. Yeah, Mark, I know you saw. You got some.
Yeah, like I want a Deekay for what was it, $18? It was like it's no brainer for me.
Yeah, $18. Yeah, that's exactly right. It was also on the base chain, so there were two of them. There was an ETH one and a Bitcoin one. I think they were exact same, except for whatever flag he planted on top of the White House. Or at
last time I looked, there was a lot more
ETH
of versions minted than the Bitcoin. So that was interesting to see.
Minted 45,000 total at $18 each, which is a nice little,
and it got all
little haul. And it was on the base chain.
Yeah,
which is
but it all got shut down. Like the website got blocked, everything got blocked. Was it because the character was jumping on the White House?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
By the socials?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, it got blocked because of that? Really? I didn't know that part of it. I saw something on the social medias so they just got kicked off the social media.
The website
from
got flagged as
for it.
Suspicious or whatever else. And so the web people, even in Australia, like Telstra, which is the biggest ISP, had blocked the website so you couldn't even get to it. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it was because it was the whole someone jumping on the White House or whether it was because it was related to crypto. I don't know. But yes, people managed to mint enough as it was, and we'll see if they end up doing anything with it. Matt O'Brien in our the Opepen community worked for Floor. He bought like 260 of them. Just like, hey, if they don't do anything with it, he's just going to give them out as presents because they're cheap. And it's a Cozomel de Medici, two of the biggest goals in the place.
Right, totally, yeah. And so what? So it's on the base chain, but it still shows up on OpenSea. It still shows up in your normal collection.
Yep,
it's an ERC 721 OpenSea, and it's and you have to use like base ETH. It's so weird.
Well, man,
go ahead.
Yeah, layer 2 is where it's at. Is where it's all going to be.
Okay, it's a layer 2. Is that what it is? Technically, it's a layer 2.
Yeah,
ETH.
so
okay. You're right.
As
layer
we all
2,
know, like minting NFTs for the last couple of years, especially in the bull, it was ridiculous, right? We were sometimes paying 4 or 5 times the price of the NFT in gas. So that was just wrong, and everyone knew it was. We just dealt with it. I still remember you and Theo buying VFriends and spending like $500 gas. And I was like, what the heck are you guys
$500
doing?
each on gas. Yeah,
that was just what you had to do back then. So these layer 2, they're still, from a developer perspective, it's great because they're all Ethereum based. So you basically can do your code the exact same way. It's just it's on layer 2, so the gas price
it was like 60
next to
cents.
nothing.
It was like 60 cents to mint that.
Yeah. Which means now you can do some really cool stuff from like a game perspective. You know, people can just be buying and selling and swapping and minting.
Well, that's what it is. For the gamings, it has to be layer 2. Yeah, we've said that for a while. It has to be.
Yeah. So you've seen Basecom, Zora have their own network. That's what the Tread Edition Great Guys one was on. And so, like, you know, in the last few weeks, there'd be literally tens of thousands of wallets that had minted on layer 2, which is so good to see. You know, it's a bear market. Things are dead, but the tech is just getting better every day, right? So for the next bull run, we should be in a really good position that we're not wasting all this money on gas. And what was the other side, Mint? It was like millions of dollars of gas just gone into.
Like 180 million, not just a little amount. It was like 180 million in gas.
Listen, it goes to Ethereum and blah, 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 but still, it's not right. So yeah, it's great to see these layer 2s get traction, and I'm excited to build some stuff on it. And there has been some cool games come out already where you just couldn't do it on layer 1, right? So.
Nice. That's what's up. And speaking of layer 1, layer 2, did you see Utes is migrating from Polygon over to ETH? They announced that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They're giving back a Polygon grant.
I don't know. I've never been a massive Poly fan. Like I tried to buy a couple of things back in 2021 and it just was a bit.
The visitors?
Yeah. And was it the projects? But Poly are killing it in terms of their marketing, right? Every big brand has moved over to Poly. So I believe they're going sort of more, they used to be a side chain. They're going more like layer 2 and whatever else. But I'm not in the DeGods Utes sort of ecosystem, so I don't really pay too much of attention to it.
Yeah, I'm not, there's something happened this week, actually. They I don't know exactly what happened, but there was definitely some FUD around.
They just did the downgrade,
art reveal, I believe.
A few years ago, you can now choose between like 3 or 4 different versions of your PFP.
Right.
Frank's good. I don't put him on the same level as Luca from the little sound clips I've heard. Like he's only 24 as well. These guys are so young, right? Which young is okay.
Yeah, I know they are young. Jenny's like, that's not that young.
Yeah, and
me and Marka are like, that's so young.
You could be a genius at the age of 12, but it's
I love seeing the kids
like
crushing it.
Luca. But even since you guys have had him on the podcast, everything I heard from Luca, I'm so impressed with.
Same, I know. Luca's really something.
Whereas Frank and all that, I need to just do more research into it.
Yeah, now Frank's a hype machine. He's really good at it. Throws good parties. He's got people into the thing. But keep the attention. You know, Web3's tough, man.
And I think it's just we're all sort of like, hey, they're PFPs, but what more, right? So you can't be spending thousands of dollars just to get a picture. And that's what I heard him say earlier on, was like, oh, if you get a YouTube, you become part of the community and you make some friends. I'm like, well, that doesn't warrant spending all that money, right? So,
well, to some people, so most of the time not, but there are some people, if you take advantage of that, like if you get the Ute and then meet people and then use that to grow your reach and then figure out a way to build a business around it. Some people, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah. I asked that of him,
but not for everybody, not just
Bored Ape holders. One specifically who's held onto it, this local guy.
Yeah.
And I asked him that. I was like, okay, over the last 2 years, what have you got out of owning a Bored Ape? And he basically said, unfortunately, because he's down here, there's just not a big community. Yeah, I know you have, like, you met people and the rest, right? So for me, like, my goal is to get a CryptoPunk. Yeah. I really do wonder if I get a CryptoPunk, will that open the doors up? Will I meet more people? I do feel like the 99% of people who own CryptoPunks are a certain breed of person, sort of person that I want to hang out with. There's the Punkcast podcast that Maxwell does, and you just listen to the people on that. They're like OGs, they're devs. So they do have occasional meetups. Beeble is inviting every CryptoPunk to his gallery. So yeah, there is something into buying a PFP ticket into a community. I just don't know if it would work if the Utes and D-Gods, if that would, sort of people are in there, I guess.
Right. Yeah, totally. You got to go all in with it too if you're gonna make the most.
That's the thing. You got to be in the Discord and give as much as you take, right? And that's with Opepen and checks I have. I've lived and breathed it now. I said they were $8 and $0. So you didn't even have to worry about that sort of initial 3 or 4 ETH investment. So,
did you guys see this week that Pixel Vault purchased Wolf
I didn't
Game?
even see that.
No.
I didn't know. I didn't know Wolf Game was still around. I thought that died when Beanie left.
Yeah, Wolf Game's actually pretty successful. Wolf Game has some good devs, and it's still going, and it's still viable.
Remember Gary Vee was like, that was the one like project that he was like really into, and people would be like, tweet from your real account if this is real. He'd be in the Discord like, gosh, should I buy more sheep or more wool? And like, I just remember he was like so into Wolf Game. Yeah. And Beanie obviously was super into Wolf Game.
Beanie was, That's probably why it got good, was because of Beanie in the beginning. The article I read said that Beanie is the one that introduced G-Funk and the dude from Wolf Game. I thought it was funny that his two projects came together like that too, like the two that Beanie like lifted up.
Even though they have Twitter beef and they apparently don't like each other anymore.
I know. Beanie and G,
they go at it, dude. Like they keep saying stuff. It's
going
like,
at each
whoa,
other. It's
get a
such
room.
shit.
Like
I know, guys. It's like it's a bad breakup.
I've seen some of Beanie's latest tweets, and I'm just like, oh man, yeah. I think I've actually had to just block it because there's a lot of crap he comes out with.
Michael wants him on. What do you think about Michael getting him back on? Getting him on the.
I
on the
love
pod?
Beanie.
Oh yeah, look, I'm all for anyone coming on and letting them talk.
Well, listen to this, Mark. I asked him. I was talking to him, and I asked him if he would come on, and he was like, "Which Jenny?" And he was like, "What? Give me a link." And I gave a link to her profile, and then literally like 2 seconds later, he sends this message from like 2 years ago that she said about him, and like he's like, "This Jenny, that should be fun."
I was like, something like, "Of course, like Beanie is his real name is Charles, and he's a scammer and blah blah."
Charles.
I don't know,
Charles. Yeah,
but
it was when he got exposed. When the
truth comes out, and listen, bring him on and let's hear from him. But I don't know. I think we've got enough insight into certain people now to sort of have a strong enough opinion on them.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of a fan. I still have a soft spot.
I still have a
soft spot for the old guy. I have a soft spot for the old guy.
You just like him because he's middle-aged.
Yeah.
You just like him because he's in your... Actually, he's probably older. He looks like he's like 60. I don't know. When I saw the photos, maybe.
It could be, yeah.
Do you still chat with VGF, Michael?
Yeah, I chat with VGF every so often. We do our DMs and stuff. We actually talked about having him and G-Funk on next month, believe it or not, because they're doing all that stuff with the reboot and by Wolf Game and just everything that they're working on. So VGF has been on twice, but I want to have him on with G-Funk and do like a real Pixel Vault.
Now that they bought Wolf Game, the people have mentioned to me a lot over the last month or two would be building these Web3 games and stuff. And I did see they just launched a load of new games like a month or so ago. So yeah,
Wolf Game
did?
Yeah,
Wolf Game did.
Wolf Game did?
Oh, yeah, they've been pumping.
Yeah, I know they're still doing their thing.
Yeah, so surprising to hear they were bought. So I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot. I love the consolidation. I think that if there's room to make money, it's like watching those things. That's why we did that little Lemonheads thing. Like, it's because whoever buys a project, you're not just buying it just to bury it or sit it on the shelf. Like, you have an idea. Like we saw Luca, but no one knew who Luca was. And Pudgy Penguins went from 0.75 to 5 ETH when everything else was down 90%.
That Koala Academy Agency
That's pretty wild.
Interactive, whatever it's called, that just got bought as well. I saw a couple of days ago.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
a guy was one of those like, what's your biggest sells in NFT land, and he bought like the complete top. He bought like a rare koala for like 1 ETH, and it's like 0.0001 or something now. But I happened to just look at it because it was like, it's an Australian marsupial. I wonder what happened to that project, but they had tweeted out just that same day that they'd been bought out.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah, they've been acquired.
Yeah.
Drop your koala in the comments. Interesting.
yeah,
I like to know the prices too. I want to learn what the prices that these things get acquired for.
oh, they'd be next to nothing.
Like, I
'cause
wonder what
royalties are gone.
G-Funk
so,
had to-
yeah.
Yeah. It's just the IP. If somebody, they like, some of them probably do. They'll take 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. It depends on, what project, what it is. Luca did say on the pod that he was going to be looking to buy something, and Jenny guessed that maybe he was the one doing Little Lemon Friends, but I got from his suggestion that he was doing a smaller collection because he said he didn't want to say what it was because it's a smaller collection and it would affect the floor too much.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
just focus on your penguins, man. Like, yeah,
It's got to be something to do with like penguins or
Well,
something.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like what, like lemons. Like, how would that fit into the penguins meta? Like, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would probably be another cute little animal or whatever. He's just
yeah,
looking
true.
for something he can make toys out of. That's what he knows how to do. He knows how to get into stores. He knows how to get into Walmart. He's making really cool toys. Mark, he sent us a bunch of stuff. Lucas sent all
There you
three of
go.
us, like
That's-
care boxes and
And he was
really
like,
nice.
so nice
Like
to us for
all
no
the
reason.
plushies
Just like
and the stuff that they were ordering.
he's so nice.
he's
Yeah, really.
man, he's smart. It's not that
Yeah.
hard. I don't believe.
Yeah.
It's not that
Yeah.
hard to be different.
He's
right?
really
like,
smart.
You're making this money. Just give a little bit back. These collections charging like $600 for like a hoodie and whatever. I'm like, get out of here. Come on. Like, so my little project, I'm trying to give back. Like,
I know.
it's not that hard, I don't think. And especially with like, communication, like that's where CloneX has really dropped the ball, in my opinion. Artifact is, their comms have been terrible. Everyone knows that. They're really trying to push the space, but it's not that hard to hire a comms person and be upfront about it. And what they did with that Monolith 2 was just an absolute disaster. And yeah, I just constantly see it, like these projects making silly mistakes, right? So
Yeah. Especially CloneX, Artifact, Nike. That should have been a no-brainer. Who's running that? Like, why
yeah,
isn't
I
that
know,
just like freaking awesome?
Listen, Artifact sold out. There's no two ways about it. They sold out to Nike, and then obviously Nike have come in with all their red tape and hierarchy and stuff like that. And still half glass full sort of person. I
That's
still
true.
believe in the long term. Nike usually do good stuff. But again, it's just the comms. I said to that Cass community manager yesterday about it on Twitter. I was just like, listen, thank you for responding, because I sort of put I just put a comment out on someone's post, and he responded straight away. I was like, there you go. That's all we wanted, right? So, and that's where Luca and those other projects are doing so well. They're on there. They're present. They're getting on podcasts. They're answering questions and all the rest. So, but yeah, I want to see a Pudgy Penguin in real life. I haven't seen the toys.
What? Let me see. I'll grab one right here.
And the little Pudgies, they're just like the other projects. They're just sort of the second version of it. Is it, Jen? It's just like the mutant.
The little
of it.
pudgy. Well, Luca was saying that it'll have a lot of the same like benefits as like the OG.
Yeah.
So he was kind of hyping up the little pudgies when he came on the
Yeah.
pod. That's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little pudgy.
Yeah.
But
It's the
Yeah,
mutant,
Michael,
it's the
that
mutant
was
to
it.
the ape. It's
Here's
Oh, wow, it's big. Nice.
my plush. Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice one. And
Oh.
and then they got the little guys too, and all these come with like NFTs. I haven't scanned them yet and done the NFT.
That's awesome.
And then we got
Yeah.
like some hats and stuff. It was very nice. You didn't have to do that.
No, he seems to be doing it. I love that building in public, the video stuff. I'd only recently seen that. I didn't realize he'd been doing that so long. I'm like, why aren't other projects doing that? Your holders just want to see you being active and making mistakes or whatever. And I love that. I pushed for it in stuff that we did a couple of years ago, right? Michael, like, just get the founder on in front of the video and just talk a bit. You want to know your story and that you're a real person.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
yeah, man. So what else? The only other couple things we got, Fewocious is back. There was some controversy a couple months ago. We don't need to get into, but they are back. Their website's updated. Their PFP project is still coming. I guess those shoes are probably off the table. If you have Paint, you're going to get a free one on September 26th. That's when it's starting.
Yeah, and they're doing
like pre-sales and
ERC
stuff.
6551. So they're doing this little backpack thing. So you get a So
in addition to
I was looking at it last week. I was surprised that the Paint
neat.
hadn't dropped more, but it's sort of held pretty well. Listen, allegations are allegations.
Let me see what.
Like I.
Go ahead. You can keep going.
On too much, but I did see his tweet, and you just look at the replies that was on one of his tweets, and it's all the top people in the space support him. I know Maddie, DCL Maddie down here, Medikey is a big fan of him. Like, all the top guys were commenting on that post, so they're all going to support him going forward. So, it looks like a really cool project. It really does. So it should be interesting to see how it all goes down. I've got one Paint, like a rare-ish one. So
okay, I have a 3-pack. I have one 3-pack that I've been holding.
3-pack. That's the 3. That's what I have as well. I think we both have 3-packs. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, I have a 3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Floor on the 3-pack is 0.395 at the moment.
So if that can come back a bit.
Yeah, it's been strong the whole time, and we minted these over a year ago. I think these are all been around for a long time.
And the PFP, are they just going to be little images, or are they little animated things? Like, these are like animated. They're taking their photo sort of thing, but
I don't think they're animated. I don't know. There's 3 species. There's 3 characters: Frankenstein, Misunderstood, and Humanoid. And then they have all these different traits to them. I don't know if it's going to be animated or if it's just going to be a still.
The aesthetic of.
I like the colorfulness of it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not completely my style of art that I like, but I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a PFP, and like they're like, it's definitely different. It's interesting and cool. I'll be part of it. I wanted to get those sneakers because those Adidas sneakers were super cool.
Yeah, it all got.
That didn't end up happening.
Yeah.
Adidas was like, it did. So let's see what else is on this website. Well, the one thing that's interesting is he didn't put a price on it, which means it's going to be high. He's trying to figure out like how much can I, you don't want to, when they don't put the price, they're trying to figure out how much to go as they can get. You know how that goes behind the scenes. Well, let's do a little math. What's ETH going to be at in 6 weeks? You got to be careful of that.
Yeah.
You can't put a price and then have ETH get cut in half. But everybody that has Paint will be airdropped. So Paint holders will be airdropped 1 free Fuwo.
Yep.
On September 26th.
Doing that little backpack thing. So I'm a big fan of this 6551 thing, which is like an NFT can own other NFTs. And this could be one of the first big projects, well-known artists to sort of do it. So I'm pushing for it. I'm hopeful it all goes well just for that. So
yeah, I'm interested to see all that 6551 stuff, how that starts to play out. The subscriptions, I think, are really interesting. If you're a band and you can have someone do a $1 subscription a month automatically, like how cool is something like that? Get a couple thousand fans, give you $1 a month.
Smart wallet side of things. It's like wallets being able to do stuff, and they're sort of the link. They're a bit linked.
Okay,
similar technologies, but the ability for wallets to do things, be a lot smarter, and then this other ability for NFTs to own other NFTs. So like you have your PFP in a game or whatever, and that can win these assets, and then you can just sell that PFP with all those assets in just one transaction down the track. It's a bear market. There's a lot of FUD and stuff, but the tech is just getting better all the time. So, and some of the smartest people in the space are working on it, the smartest devs.
It is.
I'm still very bullish. 2 years later, Michael, after 2.5 years later.
2.5 years, bro. Yeah,
VV,
exactly.
do you catch up with VV at all? I haven't even opened my vault in like a year.
I haven't opened it either. I still have everything. Just sitting on it. I watch what they do a little bit, but I don't really get into it. They're just, I don't really get into it, but it's cool though. They're doing their thing.
Good old VV.
Good old VV. Yeah, man. And the only other thing I wanted to mention for the Rec League, you know what the Rec League is? That thing that's being by Enway Games out of Mocha. It's a game that's going to use the Bored Ape ecosystem. If you have an ape, a coda, a mutant, or a dog, you get to claim for free. That's coming up next week. But anybody that wants to do that needs to KYC by the 15th at midnight. So you got 2 days to KYC. You get a free. You'll be able to get a free NFT for it from the Rec League, but like a mech, a fighter, whatever that's going to be.
You already doxed
I'm going to
anyway,
KYC
so.
for it. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Remember when
that
what
rule's
was
got
it for? But Bored Ape did some type of thing where you had a KYC for it.
Other dude, yeah.
You had a KYC for
and
other
that was
dudes.
that was a big thing at the time. People were like, "Do I KYC? Do I not?"
Yeah, people were not happy. I know. But then on the secondary market, only if you wanted to mint it, you had to KYC, and then you could buy it 2 seconds later on the secondary without KYC.
I've got 2 days to make a decision if I want to get a mutant to get into that game. Okay.
Oh, 2 days, no pressure.
Yep.
No pressure. No.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd rush in just for that. I'm not expecting like a 3 floor on the game or whatever, So.
Yeah, like I just
If
I've
you
always been
get
a fan of Bored Ape, right? It sucked that I didn't I bought that Rizzo instead of the board and I missed out everything. But with their game, focus, obviously it ties in with my focus. So that's sort of, a big part of it, is a win-win there for me to get in.
Yeah.
And going to the event. Yeah.
Yeah, going to the events is really cool. With my mutant, I have 2 tickets to the Friday and the Saturday party in Miami.
Nice.
So it didn't affect me getting tickets to that. I don't know how Ape Fest went. Could I have cleaned Ape Fest tickets? Or probably,
you could.
With a mutant.
You could. I think it was still all the same. They obviously had a bit of a failure in the first round with token proof. And then the biggest holder that bought 100 ape missed out. But he said he slept in. There's a lot of talk of should your whales get priority? Because I think he spent 2 million or 3 million or something on apes when the floor was plummeting. So we'll see. I also feel I'm a hodler, but it's the sort of thing where if I'm buying it, I wouldn't feel like I would have a problem with selling it because I just don't feel like I love the style of it. So I assume there might be a little bit of a pump around Ape Fest. Who knows? But
yeah, I don't know why there would be a pump around it. I don't really know why there'd be.
Yeah, what else are they going to be able to do? I guess. Yeah.
I mean, they might pump at some point. I just don't know why Ape Fest would do it.
Listen, they were what they did in 2021. No one will ever forget. It was insane. So, if anyone can pull it back, I think, why not them?
I think what really blew the price to where it was, what made me think that it was going to be worth uber bucks was the celebrities.
Damn, you fell for the celebrities.
I don't think the celebrities are going to be quick to jump back in on it.
I'm just kidding.
I fell for the
no, they had a lot of...
for sure. It was I was because I felt I'm in this club. There's only 10,000. I'm when it's Paltrow, Evan.
That was crazy. There's so many.
All these people, who else is going to keep getting them? Yeah.
Jimmy in Paris, that was insane. There's a lot of foot around that as well, isn't there? Guy or Zero Guy or whatever, and much of it was actually organic and all the rest, but no.
It was all Moonpay.
None of it was. Yeah, none of it was.
What is his name? Keith Grossman or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Grossman? Yeah, Keith Grossman. Yeah. Well, he wasn't with Moonpay then. He got to Moonpay afterward and then just left time and then he's disappeared. I haven't heard one word from that guy.
Yeah.
Took that job and see ya.
I tried to DM him to come on the pod, but he didn't see.
Oh, really?
But you know who I just messaged to come on the pod and they responded?
Who?
Ford Elon Musk.
There you go.
He said, I think September will work for me.
Oh, wow.
So
there you go.
Okay, well, let's make our September calendar.
Nice. Jenny making moves during the pod.
Sometimes I get, hey, Marka, you inspired me. You were saying a bit about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he would be good to have on. But we'll see. I'm cursed.
Yeah, that
with
would be good. That would be
reaching
totally
out, and then they say yes, and then they don't book. So
Okay.
I don't know.
They find
Struggle's real.
They find a tweet in your history that they don't like.
No, they just like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
have to follow up a million times.
Well,
no, I
I
generally
know Jenny's.
I'll put in a good
Don't
word
say
report with you
much.
as well. Next time I chat to him, we're trying to build this little card game. So next time I chat to him, I'll mention you, Jenny. You're not
Let's
scary.
go. Yeah, I'm not scary.
Well, that's what's up. Well, this was great, Mark. And we appreciate you coming on short notice. It was definitely very topical to go over Opepen. And I found it really interesting I find it really interesting what they're doing. And now I know a lot more about it. And there's a lot going on. We ended up covering a lot of really good topics. Good hearing your
Yeah, it's
perspective.
an exciting project to get in. So, anyone out there that feels like you're too late, it's like 5%. You're not too late at all. And it's a really
Yeah, Mark's saying guaranteed 10 floor.
not
Opepen.
financial advice at all. It's more just a lot of good builders, designers, and smart people.
okay.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you're a smart dude too, man. I've always admired you. You do amazing work, and I'm glad you're a friend,
Thanks so
and I'm
much,
glad
Michael.
you came on. We'll do this again for sure.
Thanks, Jenny.
And
Cheers. All right.
yeah, man, keep
Peace
up the
out.
great work, brother.
All right. Well, thank you, Marka, for joining us. And we'll catch you all in the next episode. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.